Hey everyone, so please excuse the noises in the background. We're in the greenhouse right now, and I have a very special video for today, which is we are going to be deploying our tilapia in the storage tank. And this isn't going to be the stock tank. This thing isn't quite ready to harbor fish, but instead we're going to drop it in this new 50-gallon sort of fish pond that you would use for landscaping. And so I have some air stones in here, and I have a water heater, which should keep the water around 70 degrees, maybe a little bit more. And then I also have a space heater that will hopefully be heating up this area of the greenhouse, so that it does stay warm enough in here, because tilapia are tropical fish. Specifically, I got white Nile tilapia, and so they're from the Nile region in Egypt, and so they're ancestors to ancient tilapia from that time, which is pretty cool. But they do need to be in a little bit warmer temperature. But what's really nice about these fish is that they do really well in a lot of different environments, as long as they have clean water, good food, and area to swim. So I got 50 fingerlings, which are going to be about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches long, and I'm going to be feeding them this tropical select tetramin fish food for a few months. And I actually bought a bag of this stuff from the supplier that I got the fish from, specifically for fingerlings. And I'm going to probably keep them down here for maybe a month or two before I start throwing some of them into the 330-gallon stock tank. And I might be using a little bit of this water down here to inoculate some of the water in the fish tank or the stock tank, so that it's ready to receive more fish, and so that they can grow out into the full adult size. So anyways, this is a 50-gallon stock tank down here, and I just filled it up with well water. I have a air pump that is rated for about 50 to 60 gallons. And then I have an air stone, which is probably 2.5 feet long. We do have a thermometer down here, and I did set this up last night, and it was about, well, I'll put a little screenshot here, but it was, right now we're sitting at little around 70, actually exactly at 70, so 70 degrees should be good here. I also got this biofilter, or an aquarium filter, which has a series of filtering mechanisms in here, sort of similar to what we would get out of the growth media, and then also the exact same thing that we would be getting out of the biofilter, which would be used for the aquaponics system. I don't think right now I'm going to use this in any aquaponics capacity. I really just want to use this to make sure the fish have a good home for the first month that they're in here. And this is kind of like a nursery, because these fish are still babies. They're going to be super small. And so we're going to make sure that they grow out a little bit more before we put them in the large tank. So let's go ahead and open this box up and kind of see what we got. We'll see on this box it says tropical live fish, you know, this side up. It says keep warm. So we have some pretty good insulation in here, it looks like, which should help retain the heat. Ah, there we go. There's our tilapia. And again, these are white Nile tilapia. I see a few dead ones, but there's quite a few in there that they're swimming around still. So I think this looks good. The shipping worked well. I got these from St. Augustine out of Florida. I believe it was St. Augustine. Alright, so following the instructions on this page that came with the fish, it says you need to let the inflated bag float on the water to adjust to the water temperature, so that they have a smoother transition. Another big thing it says is do not allow the shipping water into your tank. So it looks like we'll have to add some water to the bag every 5 minutes for 20 minutes and then eventually net the fingerlings and add them to your tank. So we'll just we'll scoop them out and put them into the tank. All right, so let's go ahead and float this bag. I'm not too crazy about using suction cups here to keep the filter on, so I'm going to drill some holes in here and put some zip ties down so that it'll hold better. So I found a Gatorade bottle that I washed out to get any of the leftover Gatorade in. So what I'm doing is just filling this up with the tank water that they will be in. And then every 5 minutes I'm just filling this bag up. So I just did the first one. And I'm just wedging the bag up in here so that it stays submerged. So another thing, I don't come out to the greenhouse enough to be able to feed them as much as they need fed. So I did buy an extra automatic feeder that can feed them 2 to 3 times a day. I did fill it with the flakes, but I'm not too crazy about how inconsistent it is with the flakes after it opens up there. So they did ship some food with the fish, so I might just fill this up and then use that to feed them. I don't think they need that much food. By the time I get some more fish food in the mail, which I did order some, it'll be Thursday, so I think that should carry us over until then. Alright, so it's been about 20 minutes, and so now we're going to start netting out the fish into the tank. So I don't actually have a net. I just have a cup here. But we're gonna grab a few and let them swim out. There they are. They're in their new environment now. And you can already see they're trying to eat the food. Looks like a little bit of food dropped in the deeper spot. There's about a foot difference over here than up here. Alright, let's grab some more. Alright, well it looks like that's the last of them. There's nothing else in here. So we'll come back later tonight, maybe get a pH level measurement and some baseline measurements so that we can track the levels, the chemical levels within this over the next month. Alright guys, so we're back towards the end of the day, and I've been checking on the fish down here. The temperature is about 75 degrees, so it did end up warming up a bit. I've had the door open a little bit already, but the temperature was about 80-85 degrees, so I think the water temperature is good for now. I am going to come back later this week just to make sure that things look good, but I do have another project that I am going to be doing today, which is building a swirl filter for this aquaponics system. A swirl filter will help me get rid of all the solid waste from the fish that ends up making it onto the plants, and hopefully the swirl filter will filter out any of the waste that is heavier, and it'll sink to the bottom of this bucket. So I'm gonna test this out and construct it a little bit, and then maybe show you what I have. Alright guys, so I made the swirl filter, and I'm going to show you the components. So we're going to start with the bucket here. This is a typical 5-gallon bucket that I got from Lowe's. I have a little bit of pool filter material, which you can get at any hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot. Then I have 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe that I drilled a whole bunch of 1/2 inch holes in. And I'll show you what that's for. And I actually have 2 of these, and they're probably maybe 2 feet long, 1.5 to 2 feet long. Got to time my wordings because the pump is running right now. So I have some various 3/4 inch PVC pipe fittings. I have 90 degrees and 45 degrees, and then I have a T connector right there, and then just standard 3/4 inch PVC pipe. And then finally 45 degree fittings for the ends of the drain there. You can pick up these baskets. They're typically for perlite or some type of clay media that you put in the 5-gallon bucket like this if you were going to grow organically from a bucket. So we're not going to necessarily use it for that case. Instead, we're going to use it to keep the solids contained in the bucket as well as hold the filter media or the filter material. You'll notice there's a couple holes in here, and then I do have a hole in the bottom, and I'll show you what that's for. But I have 4 holes that go through the basket and then a hole in the bottom. So let's go ahead and start constructing this. One more thing, I did drill 4 holes in the side of the bucket. I did one right below the handle on both sides, and then I went over just a little bit, probably 6 inches, and I drilled one there. And so the idea is that we should have a through hole on both sides because we're going to end up running 2 of the PVC pipes down here for the drainage. So alright, so we're going to go ahead and construct this. So first what we'll do is we'll put in the standpipe, which is where the water drains out of the fish tank there into the bucket. So that's going to go right in the middle. The idea of the swirl filter is that the water is going to be jetting out in such a way that it creates a swirl motion, and so all the heavy sediment is going to have a hard time rising up with that swirling. It's going to want to stay down at the bottom. So anyways, there's the standpipe there. Then we're going to take our basket here, and we're going to fit that over. And we're going to line up those holes there with the holes on the outside. Alright, so next we're going to take our drains here, and we're going to just push them through these holes so that they go all the way through on both sides. And so I have 2 of them, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I got the drain pipes down there, and I made sure to keep the handle on the top because we're going to be lifting this out of the growth bed multiple times throughout our season so that we can clean this bucket. So now what we're going to do is put the filter material underneath these drains so that it ends up getting contained in there and it doesn't come out. So I'm just going to stuff some of these underneath there. Alright, just like that. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and poke this. Alright, I got a tear in there, so now I'm just going to push that through. Alright, so finally we're going to put our 45 degree fittings on all 4 ends. So let me do that. Alright, so now our swirl filter is complete. We have all the parts together, so now we're just going to set it right here in the middle. Now you'll notice I have a line that's running from the stock tank. There is a pump right here, which is almost a, I think it's 900 gallons per hour. I can't remember how much it is. I'll put it down here, but it's pretty fast, so it's going to be pumping tons of water into this thing. So I need to make sure that this filter, or this swirl filter, is suitable enough to drain the same amount of flow that's coming out of here. So we're going to go ahead and test that. And one thing we want to make sure is it doesn't overflow up here. We want to keep everything contained in the bucket. This is a really simple solution. It didn't require any plumber's glue or any fittings or any liquid cement or the PVC cement or any chemicals like that. This is just straight plastic PVC. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure it works right. Alright, so if we go over here and test this out, we're going to hit run there. And we should be getting water coming through here and then down into here. So it looks like we have a little bit of leakage over here. I drilled a hole maybe too far, But that's something simple I could clean up with some more PVC pipe. I do want to clean this up and maybe put some more pipe so that it's a little more elegant and it's not just draining onto the bed. But it looks like the water level is draining well enough that it's not overflowing up over the bucket. So I'm going to let this run on our normal weekly schedule to make sure that this thing is working fine and that there's no kinks to work out. Meanwhile, my fish down here are just chilling out. Hopefully they don't chill out too much. So come back next week and we'll see what everything is looking like.